Hey guys, how's it going? Michael Troy here, and today we're going to be looking at Essential X-Men Volume 4. Okay guys, so this is fun. I've been an X-Men fan probably. I started collecting X-Men, Uncanny X-Men with issue 163, as I believe my brother brought that home for me from 7-Eleven, and then so this is 162 through 179, Annual 7, Marvel graphic novel number 5, and uh, this features the art of. I'm sorry, I think I could fix that. I feel bad, but it's just going to get in the way, so I'm going to take it off. But I love these essential versions. They're like black and white. They're printed on newsprint, and they're affordable, and they're like contain so much. So this is getting near the end of Dave Cockrum's run. He came back after John Byrne had left and was pretty consistent up until this point. And this is just some really great classic Dave Cockrum art. All the X-Men look great. He helped, co-create the new X-Men. He did not co-create Wolverine, but he definitely draws a great Wolverine. And this is when the Brood saga, which was basically like Alien, because these brood that look just like aliens impregnate their hosts and then take over their bodies, turning them into aliens or whatever. And that was nothing like Alien at all, right? I mean, okay, so this is the first issue I had, and like I was in love. I mean, I instantly fell in love with Kitty Pryde, as so many other people did. And this is just epic. I mean, this is here come the Starjammers, Scott Summers' father, Scott Summers' brother, Havoc. I don't know if they knew it at the time, but I guess they're there together, Polaris. I have to say, like, I'm a bigger fan of Dave Cockrum in retrospect because, I mean, compared to John Byrne, he just wasn't John Byrne to me, and I know that's a horrible thing to say because I'm sure they were compared all throughout their careers, but that's not to discount Dave Cockrum at all because obviously you see the amazing talent here. I need one of those bank thingies so I can turn the pages. A little pot of wax or whatever. Anyway, so this is the introduction of Binary, Captain, or Carol Danvers, who was Captain Marvel now, I guess. We all know she's Binary. I don't know. I think she did it in the movie. I still haven't seen the movie. I don't know. I'm in no hurry to see it. Nothing about it appeals to me, and I'm a huge Miss Marvel, Carol Danvers fan, but I think that after them trying to ram it, this is a great Ilyana. I always love that shot of her. I always felt Dave Cockrum. Well, he pretty much was probably the first one to draw her anyway, so he draws a great Ilyana. But there's Binary. That's such a great shot of her there. I love seeing the art in black and white, but you can see how much Glynis Wein did bring to the plate as colorist because, that's how we remember all these images. Wolverine being an a-hole as usual. Storm, I think she's impregnated by the brood. She's so in tune with nature and her own body that, she's like, listen, something's not happening. This is when magic starts for me. I worship Paul Smith. If anybody at IDW can make a Paul Smith Uncanny X-Men Artist Edition happen, that would be life-changing. Just the style was just so different for me and just like so refreshing and just so great. This is his first issue, and I think he really came into his own on his second issue, but I mean, this is just amazing. Maybe it was more or less jibing with Bob Wiacek, the inker, who I feel was such a great fit for him. But Paul Smith apparently came from animation, so he wasn't concerned with like putting in all the crazy details, which I know sounds silly because this looks very detailed, but as opposed to, I don't know, more the noodling and stuff and the hatching of someone like John Byrne and Terry Austin. So much great Storm. He draws like, like John Byrne is probably my favorite Storm. Paul Smith is probably my second favorite Storm. Art Adams is my third favorite Storm. Could you imagine if I went up to like 100? I love this scene here. It's very moody and great storytelling of Kitty at her own funeral. She turns into the Brood, and then Peter comforts her. She wants him to comfort her, and he says she's too young. Good boy, Peter. Storm showing up in different incarnations of herself, because she was a vampire at one point, and that was cool. Great double-sized issue. I mean, we were treated so well in the 80s by the X-Men. Thank you, Chris Claremont. Thank you, Paul Smith, Bob Wiacek, Tom Warzakowski, Glynis Wine, Ann Nesenti, Louise Jones, the editors. Can't leave them out. I mean, isn't this fun? If you guys haven't read the Paul Smith X-Men run, it is killer. The art is so good. I can't believe people don't like... But it felt like it was short. You know, it's funny to hear us complain. And when I say us, I mean us old folks who... I mean, he did, you know, issue 165 through one... Well, he gave us like... And then once he skipped 171, that Walt Simonson drew. That was cool. I liked how he added the X to her skull cap. And that was Lockheed showing up for the first time. And these pages are just beautifully illustrated right here. There's Wolverine being a badass. Like, just, he doesn't care that he's tied up. He's going to leap into the air. And, of course, Cyclops fries him with his optic blast. But it set him free. See? The storytelling is, like, off the chain in here. I'm curious to know what the script looked like. Because they used the Marvel method where the writer would basically describe what was happening on the page and then come in and fill in the words later. Such a great shot of Kitty there. It's Wolverine just cutting Broods up. He's about ready to kill the X-Men as they turn into Broods, but luckily Binary pulls them out of it. That was cool, that crystallized Brood there. Brood. I mean, I have to say, as much of a ripoff as it was of Aliens, it was still cool as hell. And here's Aurora. She got rid of the Brood, thank God. And here we go. This is a great issue, too. The X-Men are coming home after being lost in space, and they get to meet the New Mutants for the first time. And what a meeting it is. Here they crash into the living room, just attacking them. Fantastic double-page spread by Paul Smith here, featuring the New Mutants looking amazing. I love the New Mutants so much. I'm glad that their movie is sort of turning into like a cult hit, because it's a good movie, and I don't know why it's getting such mixed reviews, because it's super enjoyable. The acting's good. The story's fun. Is it perfect? No, of course not. Show me the perfect superhero movie. That's fun. Nightcrawler bashing together Danny and Shan's head, and after throwing off Wolfsbane. Oh, it's Sunspot taking on Wolverine. That's pretty ballsy, Bobby. Wolverine all brooded up. You know, or did I say, who did I say? That's Professor X all brooded up. And he, I would not trust that man to save my life. You never know what's going on in that bald head. He's always scheming and pulling some shit. So many great shots here. I love Corsair. He looks like one of the Bee Gees. See, that was a missed casting opportunity, Bryan Singer. He could have had Corsair as... there's Xavier. His body was cloned. in order to get rid of the brood. And so now he can walk, but but he has to get over the mental part of it. He's the world's most powerful telepath, so that's a bit of irony there. And then we're coming to one of my favorite issues again. Like every issue is my favorite issue, but Professor Xavier's a jerk. I remember my brother and I both did our versions of that and hung them on our walls, and I love that picture. I love the way Paul Smith draws like reflections in hair. And once again, see, like, I feel like Bob Wiacek and Paul Smith have really hit their stride and as far as perfecting their look together by this point. There's Xavier. Now you know, like normally when you're in the danger room, you're having like flame balls and tentacles thrown at you, and like your life is in super like real danger, and he can't even stand up on a pole. I mean, come on. Uh-oh, who's that dragon? Stevie Hunter and Kitty Pryde, because Kitty is a dancer, and there's Ilyana taking some dance lessons with her. I just felt like she had such a volatile relationship with Stevie Hunter, always yelling in her face and stuff. We'll get to see more of that later. Here's Storm going for a nude walk outside. This is the beginning of her feeling alienated from herself, no pun intended, after being brooded up. But here's Kitty trying to kiss Professor Xavier's ass to let her stay in the X-Men and not have to join the New Mutants. So legend has it there's Nightcrawler showing up, but it's a girlfriend slash stepsister, Amanda Sefton. Well, I guess they were raised together, but I know, a little weird, right? But they're not related, so it's cool. But anyway, in the original art, I don't know if it exists, but supposedly Nightcrawler's just naked, so, which is kind of funny. That's a strategically placed champagne bottle there, Smitty. And when I say Smitty, I mean Paul Smith. But look at all this great storytelling. He draws the perfect kitty. So, oh, here comes Madeline Pryor. Wasn't she a Jean clone? Here's some fun different designs for Kitty's costume. She always had a identity crisis, I think. Here's God Loves Man Kills. We saw a lot of this storyline, and I guess it was X-Men United. I don't know. I thought it was like a rushed, bad depiction. I mean, why even bother? You know, like, this is a masterpiece. This was, like, Marvel was doing graphic novels at the time, and they were for, you know, stories that were epic or bigger in scope or not necessarily fitting. See, here she is fighting with Stevie Hunter again. Fitting in the regular monthlies. Kitty's wearing her Ariel costume. The art looks so dark. It must have been, like, painted on the original boards or something. I don't know. But for whatever reason, this is how it reproduced in black and white. I was so blown away by this whole story. Everything just seems so epic. I love Brent Anderson's art, very cinematic. He was supposed to take over as artist on the X-Men and refused it. As did Bill Sienkiewicz. Could you imagine? I would give my left one to draw the X-Men. Although, I don't know, be careful what you wish for. But anyway, so this is just some fun stuff. Magneto looking like a boss. And she just shoots Kitty. I always got so scared when, like, they faked their deaths or they got shot or whatever. This is so much just, I don't know, it seemed really just, I guess because it was the graphic novel format, but it felt, you could feel it. It was, like, very cinematic. It seemed different or bigger. You know, it had a big climax and there was controversy and I don't know. You know, it was kind of a touchy subject with the, you know, the parallels of racism and inequality and all that, because the mutants are persecuted. And then we're back to our regularly scheduled program. This is such a great shot of Angel Warren Worthington being held prisoner by the Morlocks. She comes home. How creepy is that? Candy Southern, his girlfriend. She finds feathers everywhere. And then she calls Xavier. And then the Morlocks, I guess, come to get her too. Here we go, and Nightcrawler's date again, and he's just teleporting naked outside, which is so strange because did I not say in the last episode that, or the last issue, that he was supposed to be naked on the couch and they nixed it? So why is it okay for him to be teleporting naked all over town? And good timing, as Candy gets thrown out the window, there's Nightcrawler to catch her. And then here we go back at the Hellfire Club. And we have Emma Frost, who's been in a coma since she switched minds with Storm, and Storm kicked her butt like she deserves. I love Emma Frost. I love the White Queen, but I kind of like her better as a villain. Although she's sort of, you know, one of those like anti-villains, I guess, or whatever they call them. Such great shots of Storm. I just love the way he draws her in this costume, and we should enjoy it while it lasts because we know what's coming. Just so many great iconic shots. I love the shot of Callisto, leader of the Morlocks. Not for long. With Colossus and Storm and Nightcrawler looking so cool. We just need this in like in an artifact edition. I need to see this art big in all its glory. And to own one of these original pages would be amazing. And this is another epic issue. Here we go. Scott's so hung up on Jean that now he's dating her clone, who later becomes the Goblin Queen. Me, she's me. Oh my gosh, you creepster. Don't get me wrong, I love Cyclops, but the man has issues. So here we are. Callisto is wanting to marry Angel. I mean, why wouldn't she? Hot, rich, blonde guy with angel wings. I mean, great shot of Storm there. Bamf. I love how they made his sound effect, the paddle borders. One of the fun tricks of comic books that I always talk about. You know, use your medium. This was a great nightmare that Mystique was having. And she's being chased by Jason Wingard and his horses, and they slit her throat. And that's so gruesome. Like, this is a great, like, Hitchcockian thing, because what they don't show you is worse than what they show you. Like, you know she's going to get her throat slit, and then you just sort of see it happening in the reflection of her eye from the slasher's point of view. I mean, good work there, man. Good work. And this is, you know, part of all of why I love comic books. I mean, you know, I always felt sort of, you know, less than because I was more of a comic book reader than a novel reader. But, I mean, this is just as valid. I feel like I owe my extensive vocabulary to comic books, probably Chris Claremont personally. And, you know, it's just as rich and intoxicating and take you to a different world. I just paused because we're on X-Men 171. This is the fill-in issue by Walt Simonson. I almost cried, like, where was Paul Smith? But of course, in retrospect, you know, if you have to have a fill-in issue, this looks good. I love Walt Simonson's work. It's so funny because I think, and here's Rogue coming to the X-Men, and that's such a great page there. I love how much bigger Colossus is than her. She looks so vulnerable, laying on the ground. Don't hit me, don't hit me. Anyway. Oh, Belasco. I don't really remember that, but there it is. Ilyana. I love Ilyana. She's like one of the greatest comic book characters. I'm not sure of her new, like, zero personality persona, unless they got rid of that. I'm so in and out with modern comic books. This is such a great shot here. Her punching Binary, punching Rogue out of the building. I mean, luckily she has the invulnerability of Miss Marvel at this point, so that didn't kill her, but here she is. She's like, you're letting her join the X-Men after she screwed me over. Which is so funny because Chris Claremont wrote Avengers 10 to redeem Carol Danvers getting screwed over by the Avengers. And so only to make her get screwed over by Charles Xavier by letting the woman who ruined her life become one of the X-Men. But he just wants to help her. It's better than having a rogue X-Man out there or a rogue mutant. Get it? See what I did? Oh, here we go. We're coming up to Wolf. This was such a great cover. You know, we didn't have the internet when these were coming out, so it was always like a fun surprise. And I loved the X-Men in Japan. Some great artwork from Paul Smith here. Rogue looking so cute there. And the Silver Samurai, Yukio, such a great supporting character. And this echoes what Frank Miller did with the panel borders in Wolverine miniseries by Chris Claremont and Frank Miller. And part of the reason he did it, he was leaving space for the art because Claremont is known for his verbose kind of writing, and he didn't want it to cover the art. So, but the irony is, Chris liked the sparse style so much, he pared down the amount of the words, and it worked. It clicked so great. I love when synergistic moments like that happen. I remember them showing the pencil preview for this in Marvel Age, and it makes me want to see the Artifact edition even more. I just love his art so much. This is another artist, as a young artist learning, that I totally copied off of. I just loved his art so much. Such a great shot at Storm there. I feel like initially I was shocked by Storm's transformation. Just here we are still in Japan. This cover's so iconic. This has been homaged 1,010 times. Great double page spread panel there. I just really like, and Rogue and Wolverine just wound up being such a great pairing together. But he still kept her at claw's length, obviously. Yukio and Storm, another great pairing. So much great art here. I just remember being so blown away by this. Viper looks so badass, walking down the corridor with a bunch of hand ninjas behind her. Or maybe they're not hand, I don't know, but for the sake of argument, they'll be hand this time. In this epic fight between Samurai and Wolverine, no words necessary. Mariko busting it up. I always liked how he drew Mariko too. And then we have the introduction of Mohawk Storm. I mean, it couldn't be more epic than that. I don't know if I was like shocked or horrified or what happened, but if I did resist, it went away pretty quick because, I don't know, Mohawk Storm is freaking epic and classic. And then Mariko leaves him at the altar, but I think she was influenced by Mastermind, that bastard. Some great Star Slammers showing up. Star Jammers, sorry. Star Slammers is Walt Simonson's book, so not just crazy. Fun shot of Kitty and Lockheed there. This is fun. Of course, her trying to seduce Peter as usual. I always thought they should have wound up together. I hope they do at the end of the day. There's Storm coming into her attic. Kitty was not happy with this transformation. Scott and Madeline are engaged. So much great Paul Smith art. This is his penultimate issue. And then we have what we think is the return of Dark Phoenix with a big honkin' bird beak right there. Such a great shot of Phoenix there. Okay, so this is obviously one of the best covers in comic book history. When we were young and this book came out, we lived in Las Vegas, and there was this comic book store. I want to say it was called Page After Page, and they would just do comic book covers in their window and leave it there for a month or two. And they would be like like, projected recreations, and they had this once, and it just looked so cool. I mean, there's so much great things going on. And this is just fun, like classic X-Men moments, like they're cutting down a tree again. They're always cutting down trees. But and there's Kitty facing through the tree as they do it. That would take like a minute to get used to in real life, I would think. Just like someone just popping through a tree when you're trying to cut it down. Huge epic Phoenix effect there. Great shot of Storms. Mohawk looking on fleek. Great shot there. Can I just say, I love Paul Smith's X-Men, and I need to say that because it's almost over. He drops out, like, at the end of this issue. It's a double-sized issue, and we find out that it's not really Dark Phoenix, it's Jason Wingard again. Jerk. So much great Paul Smith art. I just love his stuff. Chris Claremont's so fortunate to have worked with so many great artists over the years and really just doing the best work of their career, I feel. I mean, everybody loves Paul Smith's run on the X-Men, and here we go. And then just bam, like a punch in the heart, where suddenly I thought, like, what happened? Here's John Romita Jr.'s art. And I don't want to slam it, but I just never liked it on the X-Men. And I prefer, like, his Daredevil run is good. But then I feel like he got kind of weird on Spider-Man. This is an X-Men annual illustrated by Michael Golden, the great Michael Golden. So this is fun. It's with the Impossible Man. So we're seeing a lot of different incarnations. This is an homage to a Steranko page from Nick Fury. She-Hulk. Seems like a lot of different inkers or something. The art, you can tell it's Michael Golden's, but you can tell there's different inkers. I mean, this really was like the pinnacle of X-Men. I don't know. I loved the X-Men so much. Like, you like live for the X-Men. So much great art and stories, and here we are, I don't know. This style did not appeal to me at all at the time. Just after following, like John Byrne and Dave Cockrum and Paul Smith. But now that I look at it, and seeing it in black and white, like, it could be worse. I know that's a horrible thing to say. And I feel bad because I'm not a fan. But I don't know. I feel like it could have been so much better. Now, this is an interesting issue because this was inked by John Romita Sr. over John Romita Jr.'s pencils. And I really like them together. I think that it's fun. It's obviously a lot more polished than the look of, I don't know. She just looks a little dumpy to me. His bodies were a little dumpy compared to some great superhero illustrators, but I hate to knock him because he deserves his place in comic book history, but luckily, this was, I mean, at the end of the day, it's Chris Claremont's X-Men's that, is keeping you there, so anybody could be drawing it, and I would have been along for the ride. I think this is Joe Rubenstein's inks, and they look really good. That would have been a great pairing. Not that Dan Green isn't a good inker, but he seems a little, I don't know, hit or miss sometimes, depending on who he's paired up with. This killed me. This is before all the death gimmicks, and I really thought that Kitty was dead. I freaked out. I was like, oh my God, like, I can't believe they killed her. But they didn't kill her. They just took a different dead body and mask made her face look like Kitty. And that's actually really cool. So here I am bashing John Romita Jr. And there's some really cool looking art in retrospect in here. I always love that panel there. I always love this sort of comic gimmicks with the art. She's marrying Caliban. I mean, she looks like a nervous bride. But, so, I mean, Storm already became the leader of the Morlocks. I guess this is Callisto's revenge. But, you know, she's not going to be... Storm is not going to be happy with this. I mean, you cut someone's heart out. You take over their gang. You should be respected. So, I feel like that's the end of this epic X-Men, Essential X-Men Volume 4, featuring some of the greatest X-Men stories in comic book history. If you've never read any of this, you need to check it out. If you have, you need to bust it out and reread it, because that was a fun little trip down memory lane. Anyway, please subscribe to my channel, hit like, and I'll bring you some more content soon. All right, thanks, guys.